Bill of Rights in the states.
Okay.
It's far better than the U.S. Constitution.
Okay. I noticed that, I know a lot of us argue against Article 1, Section 23. That's how we remember, that's our right to bear arms in Texas is 1, 2, 3, Article 1, Section 23. And one of the things that is in there that is quite surprising to a lot of people is the idea that that our legislature may allow, can decide who and when to carry a firearm, as opposed to they can regulate the carrying, the wearing, the bearing of the arm, and that's one of the things that we've been trying to get changed in the Texas Constitution so that it's more of a shall not be infringed type statement. What else about the Texas Constitution or Texas Code? We were just earlier discussing there's code, we have law, code, regulations, and then constitutions. Tell the folks that are watching this about laws. Let's use the example of the Declaration Act of the Emergency Declaration Act of the Governor, proclamation from the Governor of a disaster. I think that's a very interesting take you have on that, and I can't say I disagree with you. It's one of those things I have to kind of wrap my brain around for a while. So talk to us about that for a little bit.
Well, I actually sued Greg Abbott for issuing that because, number one, I don't think he has the right to do it, and number two, it's a proclamation of disaster, which in the government code it says a disaster can be an epidemic. That's the only word that fits in this, but it has to happen after the disaster has occurred. It can't pre-think the disaster. This is like this is the movie Minority Report, you know, I mean, this is thought police process. And it had not, Texas was not a disaster, nor is it a disaster now, except the one that the governor and his people have created.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you sued the governor and for making a disaster before the disaster happened.
No, I sued him because he didn't have the right to declare it a disaster, because in his proclamation says that the reason he's declaring a disaster is because 30 people are ill with
The
coronavirus.
COVID,
He misused it, but yeah. And 50 have been tested, and the results are still pending. Now, that's given the 50, that's 80 people in a state of 29 million people. I don't think that's exactly kosher.
That's not emergency, is it?
No.
That's not an emergency. If
No,
only
and
80
not
people
one
are
death.
affected. And not one death at the time he declared the emergency.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to someone who said, well, he's getting ahead of the game so he can be ready when the poop hits the fan?
Well, I believe this is all orchestrated by what powers I don't know, but they're not good for us. And I know that between February 28th and March 15th, suggestions were sent out to all the governors to do this. And I think the suggestion, the carrot at the end of the stick, was the disaster money that was going to pour in. Because that's what triggers the FEMA stuff, and now all of a sudden the federal funds come in. But the federal funds in this case are really not good for people because the common man has to borrow something to make do. I mean, all these other the agencies get money, it's pumped into them, the governmental agencies, but the people are on the hook now. And this is going to make 2008 foreclosure look like Ned and the First Reader.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, these are all loans going to businesses.
They're loans, and
billions and billions of dollars.
They come from the feds, the states manage them, but then the state gives the banks X amount of money and the banks loan it to the people. If you get an SBA loan, it doesn't come from the governor or those funds, it comes from a bank.
From a bank. That's right. And I'm assuming, have we been told these are interest-free loans? I mean, I haven't even tried to.
They're just a little over 3%.
Little over 3%. So the banks are going to make out.
And they have 30 years to repay it.
30 years to pay it out, over 3%. And boy, anybody that knows the time value, what's that called, the TVM, the time value of money, that 3% adds up. Yeah, the 3% adds up to a bunch of profit for the banks.
Well, it's not just a bunch of profit. I mean, it's set up to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, 10,000 is only $50 a month for 30 years. Sounds like a good deal.
Right.
However, the restrictions, the contractual obligations on that money are stringent. A lot of the people borrowed the PPP, the payroll protection plan, so that they could continue paying their employees. Now, so what they did with it is they pay their employees so their employees still have an income, which the employer borrowed, but like waiters, these people are really hard hit. The restaurant owner cannot allow the waiter to make tips.
Oh, really?
Really.
Oh, from after? Oh, my goodness, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So and they're saying there's a condition in there that if they'd only put it out to people and keep them employed, that it appears to be a grant. They'll forgive it. But I think the chances of that are pretty slim.
Pretty slim. So you could see, so the 2008, you mentioned that mortgage fiasco. So could you see then down the road just a whole bunch of people just not paying these, or is that to create
You're a business owner. You borrow this money to pay your employees. They cut off your business. They close it, they open it. They close it, they open it. 1/4, 1/2. They tell you the number of people you can have in your business. That's not exactly business as usual. So those guys aren't making any money.
Right.
Most small businesses work on a really, really small shoestring.
Yeah.
And so you're not making any money. Now you've borrowed this, and now the banker knocks on the door and says, payment due?
Oh, yeah. I had a retail business in Breckenridge, Colorado for a while there, a tourist-based industry, and I was there for 3 years, and it did pretty good. It didn't make a whole lot of money. We finally had to close it down.
But it's pretty scenery.
For a little, yeah, it was pretty scenery. That's right. I got to ski. I got to ski a lot, but I have been thinking, putting myself back in those shoes, if the current conditions were happening right now. And I guarantee you, I would have been, I would be totally gone by now. Because we just operated on it was really almost I know this is a technical term, but a cash flow business. I don't know what that means in technical jargon, but
it means enough to pay your bills.
Have to take it in enough to pay it out. And we did that, and I enjoyed it, and we had employees, and we had people making money. I was making a little money. I think when we opened up the business, I didn't take a single day off, and I mean a single day off.
You have to be committed
for
to
something like 9 months.
I know.
And it was every single day, Saturday and Sunday, open to close, and even during times there, I was not paying myself very much. And so I finally so you know how it works. So I finally get the thing going, and had I hit a disaster like this, it would have been completely over.
Even a week glitch would have killed you.
Even a week or two, and so it's like if we'd have had a winter up there with no snow, it's pretty much what would have happened. You would have seen 2/3 of the businesses on Main Street in Breckenridge with one winter with no snow. They'd be gone.
Well, I don't know if you've driven downtown Austin, but Congress Avenue has places boarded up with plywood.
Yeah.
Like Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's as much of a horrible prediction as that is. I think that's maybe where we're headed.
I did a taping the other day, and I was talking about my particular injury. I have to have an injury to sue. Was that the only day I take off? I help people, and there are a lot of people that need help. I always take Friday afternoon off and go to the movie theater. And I go in the movie theater. Sometimes I watch 1, 2. I'll watch as many as 3 movies every Friday afternoon. And I get to go totally veg.
Right. That's
thought.
Smart. Turn your phone off.
Not a thought in my mind, but sitting there in a big theater and no worries. And I don't think about anything. I'm not there to criticize the film. I'm just there to enjoy myself. And that gives me such relief that I can go on the rest of the time, and the stress doesn't really get to me. It is really my way of life.
Huh.
And I said, when I get to go to the movies again, and these guys said, they're never going to open again.
Some of them are not going to. I know. We don't know what the world is going to look like in a few months. We don't know if it's going to be over in November. You know, a lot of people are saying all this will just magically disappear in November after the election, and I'm not buying that. I think the long-term consequences of this are devastating. It's real scary. We're living in dark times, and I think a lot of prayer is necessary right now.
Funny you
and
say.
A lot of hope.
There's a web. I've seen it, but I didn't go there. But it was pointed out to me that these it's called bards of war, like the bard, like Shakespeare, poets, bards of war, and they have asked that everybody pray for this to end every Wednesday at 1:11 Eastern time.
Okay.
For 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I started, I heard about it, so today at 12:11, I prayed for 3 minutes. You have no idea how that felt. I'm praying for about a minute into, I got tingly, I felt the power.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. And so just like Gideon in the Bible, sent out to get rid of the Midianites, I think that that's the only way that we can get rid of this hold that has been put on us.
And we have for years, Christians have, we've been told don't talk about religion and politics and polite company.
Because it's good for you.
Yeah, because it's good. I think now, my scripture this morning on the radio program was Romans 1:16. I am not ashamed of the gospel. And I think it's time that Christians stand up and pray, and not only that, but let others know around them, I am a Christian, I'm praying for you. And we've had to just kind of keep that hidden. You didn't want to, say, well, I'm a Christian. It's not like we had to hide it like in Eastern Europe, but it was just not culturally acceptable in circles to, discuss your religion. I think the time now is we need to be discussing it, and we need to be talking. I've been hearing people say Christ is the only answer to this. And then I hear other people say, well, that's not very practical. I'm there. Christ, I think Jesus is the only answer
But that's
to this.
not the only religion. I think we all have to believe in a God. And I believe any of us that believe in a God and pay attention to God's message to us, I don't think, I never say anything about Christianity or Buddhism or anything else because that hinders the power from God, in my opinion. And it turns a lot of people off of other religions. I think we just have to have a belief in a supreme being, and we have to call on that dude. He's not going to help us in day-to-day struggles. Please save my life. Don't let me, take care of that yourself, Bubba. So, no, I think the Bible has too many miracles in it to disbelieve them. Right. And we have been taken over so deeply, so entrenched by agencies that don't believe in the Constitution and don't follow the supreme law of the land, and they're outside of it because they just are. That's how they created it. Hi, there are the drums playing for us now.
There you go.
So, religion should never be anything that should be hidden. I deal in the courts a lot, and I have come to believe that it's their dogma, their religious dogma, against my religious beliefs. In the courts, I believe that's all we have anymore is our faith in our own belief, and our faith will trump their dogma. I believe that. So religion, as far as I'm concerned, is the only tool you have left in the courts. Why would you hide it?
Right. There you go. Dessie, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for visiting with us. And that just reminded me, I saw a bumper sticker years ago that said, my karma just ran over your dogma. So I don't know if we need to pull that one up again.
Absolutely.
There you go. Dessie Andrews, thank you very much. Do you have a website or something we can tell people about?
Well, I have...
Facebook, something like that? Or?
Well, I actually have a GoFundMe right now to raise the energy. Okay. And it's... Take a Stand for Liberty with Dessie.
Take a Stand for Liberty with Dessie on GoFundMe. All right, Dessie, it's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.